Welcome to Larkin-Gowan Insights, accountancy and business advice for all, a series that gives you bite-sized tips and guidance on tax, funding, legislation, reforms and much more. With case studies, business advisory and sector specials and even interviews, our team of experts are committed to helping you navigate the world of accounting and finance, with a variety of presenters from across our specialisms. So, let's get on with today's show.
Welcome to this special mini-series, Beyond the Barn, the Business of Farming. I'm your host, Laura Clayton, an assistant manager in the Farms and Rural Business team. In each episode, I invite a different guest to share their expertise on an array of different business topics that affect the farming and rural community. We cover tax, obviously, legal matters, succession, inheritance, and much more. We go behind the scenes of how we support our clients and hopefully give you some tips along the way. On this week's episode, I'm joined by Amber, and we're going to talk you through a day in the life in the Farmings team and how we support our clients at Larkin-Gowan. Thank you, Amber, for joining. Please could you introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me, Laura. My name is Amber-Rose Barrett, and I am currently based in the Fakenham office. I have worked at Larkin-Gowan since 2011, always based in North Norfolk somewhere. Yeah, so 14 years, coming up to 14 years of being here. I joined straight from A-levels, so nearly half my life, which is quite a long time. What about you, Laura? When did you join?
Very similar to you, actually, Amber. So I joined 1st of June 2010, so 15-year anniversary has been celebrated now, which, like you, is mad to think, because if you'd have said when I started, your career would be here and forevermore, it just seems like such a long time, but I think back and it's just disappeared. So yeah, 15 years. I started off in the Norwich office, and then I've moved to the DIS office a few years later. I'm assistant manager in my team, and I've been in the DIS office now for 10 years. So since that time, I've been in my role. I think it's safe to say that our accounts from when we first started to our accounts work now, well, not just accounts work in general, our roles have definitely changed over the years.
Whilst the compliance element of our job stays consistent throughout, I think the advisory and contact with our clients particularly has increased. And it's not just at the end of an accounts year or at the end of the tax return year. It's ongoing. It's very regular. I can speak to some clients every week. I think people are now getting more value from having that person at the end of the phone, being able to ask questions, just having that support as and when required, as opposed to waiting until the accounts have been passed and not speaking to each other for another 9 months. And I think that's just the way the world has gone, really. I think people are wanting more one-on-one contact. They want to know who they're dealing with, not just an email.
Completely agree. They want a face to a name, and it's nice for us to build that relationship up over the years. I've got some clients that when I first got my portfolio, I was dealing with the parents, and now I'm dealing with the children, and it's nice that because I met them at that point, they know who I am and that contact is always there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think as well, it's more being able to go and visit clients on site. I think it gives you a really good understanding of their setup, of what they've got going on in the moment. Sometimes, as you're just asking queries or dealing with compliance or, answering their question over the phone, you don't necessarily pick up other elements of what they're doing in the day. I think when you go out on site and you can see the lay of the land and other members of the team as well, I think it's really important. So yeah, that's particularly something that I enjoy. I think our job isn't just about the now. It's not just about the past, like you said about succession and the future. It's pretty much everything. It's all of the time ongoing, and I think that's really important to just make sure that we're servicing clients to suit their daily lives as well, because particularly in our sector, it's 365 days a year, isn't it? So
It's non-stop. And going back to your point about meeting the clients on site, it's not just about the accounts, it's not just a compliance side, but we'll go have these meetings and so much will come out of the woodwork, which by sitting down and talking with them, with their families at their homes. That doesn't always happen on an email, like you say. Like, you just can't replace that kind of service. You just can't.
Definitely. No, I think as well, it gives people confidence, because genuinely for me, that is where the enjoyment comes from. It's actually understanding what our clients do, not just the very high level of what they do, but what decisions are they making, what are they worried about, what do they enjoy doing, what do they want more of, what do they want less of, what can save them time. It's those questions that you wouldn't necessarily just pass off in an email or add to the end of a set of accounts being signed. It's that ongoing point of contact.
So could you give us a rundown of some of the things you've been up to this week?
Yep. So this week, like every other week, is massively different. There is no 2 days the same for me. So, as is probably not a surprise to anybody, the recent budget has caused quite a lot of in questions and planning, and from an inheritance tax point of view specifically, so looking at clients' future plans, or understanding what their succession plans are, and putting together reports and different options for them from that point of view. Another thing that I'm heavily involved in and really enjoy is digital aspects of our role, so looking at software options, software integrations, and system processes. So this week we've been looking at changing different from different softwares. We've been looking at integrating a till system for our clients that have diversified, that alongside the general day to day, and given the timing, more recently P11Ds and employment related securities. Obviously, that's on the horizon within the next month. So, yeah,
So you
that's
have been
been
busy.
ticking along in the background as well. Yeah, but that's what I enjoy. So, what have you been up to this week?
So this week I have been up to a bit of compliance work. So that has included doing a set of accounts for one of my clients. It needs a bit of a quick turnaround on it because they want to assess their taxable profits ahead of July payment on account deadline. Their payments on account are quite high at the moment, but they haven't had a year that's matched last year. So there is hopefully scope to reduce these, and nobody wants to pay too much tax ahead if they don't have to. So yeah, that's been part of my week. The other part of the week, I've been in meetings and I've met with a client and their solicitor as well. Like you mentioned, the budget. So we're just, looking at their current position, what they can do. But it's really important that we're working with the solicitor also, so that our side and their side aligns and there's sort of no differences in between and everyone's on the same page and understands what is going on.
Definitely, we've had a similar situation where a client came in with their financial advisor, just really touching points across all areas, because it's not just about saving taxes. At the end of the day, it's what is the driving force, what is the reason why we're doing this planning, and getting everyone's kind of thought process on it. So I think we'll
That's
probably see
exactly
that
it.
more and more
Yeah.
going
And
forward.
whereas I think before perhaps some people were chasing sort of a tax saving more, but now there's so much more to consider. It's not just what's the best option that's going to, or cheapest option. It's good, it's the succession, it's how the family's going to be affected, what's going to happen to the family when they pass things down or give things down. There's a lot more to consider now than just saving some tax.
Definitely, it makes our job more interesting.
Oh,
Definitely,
100,
that's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we've definitely been kept on our toes a lot more since the budget has changed. But
Without a doubt.
talking of changes, we have had MTD. It's looming for a long time now, but finally coming into play. You mentioned obviously you're quite heavily involved in the digital side. How have you found that?
So it's an interesting one. Someone said that it's the biggest change that's happened since self-assessment came in many years ago. So I think it's difficult because it's been put off for a little while. So I think the momentum that perhaps had been gained before obviously was then put on ice. And obviously we're building that back up again. I guess with our sector, we've got quite a lot of partnerships at the moment that isn't brought into MTD for income tax, but there's still definitely a pool of clients that it does affect, not just for our sector but across the whole firm. And what is difficult, I guess, is that software firms are developing, HMRC are developing their systems. So whilst we're trying to support our clients and advise on what we can, the knowledge at the moment is still very much ongoing. So it's kind of a case of watch this space and just advising people on what we know at the moment, what we think might be coming, what their options are really. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's all good fun, obviously. For me, the digital side of things, I think the more people that can get on a digital system is great. I think there's a lot of benefits to it, not just for the fact that they have to do it, but for their processes and for the ease of allocating their time to record keeping. Essentially, it's a lot to happen before the 5th of April, I think, for everybody.
Agree. And like you say, we haven't quite got all the answers yet. We're still waiting on a few confirmations, but I think by letting the clients know, hopefully we can get them in the best place possible ahead of when this is coming, get them prepared. And as soon as we have got that intel, we can then just say, right, we know what we're doing. This is what we can do for you. And it's quite interesting. I've had some clients that are quite nervous about this too, because they are used to doing VAT for MTD. That's been around for a while now, but this is quite different to what they've done before for their tax return.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the way that they are wanting things to be reported and that it's cumulative, what they're asking people to record in terms of income and expenses, I think it is massively different. Whilst the core entry of information largely for those clients is the same, I think at the moment there's just quite a lot of questions surrounding what about allowable and disallowable expenses, what about that final declaration, what other information is going to be needed and when. And it's just really fine tuning that, and we're learning all the time. HMRC are obviously updating everything, and the guidance online and guidance through software providers and that kind of thing, because we're geared a lot by what the software can do and what HMRC's expectations are. It's a lot, it's a challenge, but I think it's a challenge that is absolutely doable. It's just about having the prep in place and making sure that the processes are in place, because ultimately, whilst potentially more work for everybody, I think it's about just making sure that it's not taking too much time for them, because as we know, that's,
They don't have
quite
that time.
exactly that.
Yeah. Like you say, it is a challenge, but then that comes back to reiterating your point earlier about client communication, because we can get through those challenges together because the clients have got the trust in us and they'll know we'll speak to them and support them throughout.
Exactly. So I'm slightly excited, which is a bit geeky, but yeah, it'll be good. It will be good.
So we've talked about quite a range of stuff that we've both been up to. What would you say your favourite thing is about being an accountant?
So I think it doesn't necessarily come across that it goes hand in hand, but for me, it's the conversations with the clients and the client relationships. I got into accountancy because I enjoyed maths and IT. I knew I didn't want to go to university. I like problem solving, so I think naturally our role aligns itself with that. But for me, I love speaking to people. I love learning what they're up to, and helping them sort their problems out. So I think, yeah, I like that there's no 2 days are the same. Massively important, because I think it can be perceived that what we do is quite repetitive.
Mm.
And as we've said before, whilst there's the element of the core compliance to be dealt with, actually every year is so different. The requirements are different, tax rules changing, that kind of thing, and also what clients directions are, that's changing consistently, whether they're selling, whether they're buying, whether, like you said, gifting or passing down to children. Every different client has a different opportunity to learn about them, so I think keeps us on our toes, and it's definitely not boring. What about you? What's your favorite thing?
Oh, I think well, pretty much same. Not every day is the same. And even with the client, each year could be completely different to the next. I really enjoy spending the time with the clients, meeting them on site, getting to know them and the family, building up those relationships. But then, like you say, if there is a problem or an opportunity they want to consider, or if they want our advice, I really enjoy being able to work with them to find a solution that ticks a lot of boxes and works best for them overall.
Definitely.
It's the client service. I think it's so important, and it's just nice having that relationship with the client. And it's the best thing ever when they sort of really, say thank you, because you've helped them. And yeah, I don't. It's just a good feeling.
Yeah, totally agree. I feel the same. I think we're lucky. We're lucky to do what we do, and particularly with the clients that we work with and where we live as well. I never take that
100%.
for granted. East of England is beautiful.
Could not agree more. So we've obviously mentioned the budget. There's loads going on, but what do you feel like the year ahead is going to be looking like?
I think for me, the next year ahead is going to be MTD focused. Obviously, we've already spoken about that to a degree, but it's going to be not just from the 5th of April, it's the prep before and it's the support ongoing. After that, we're looking at people with turnover above 30,000, reducing to 20,000. So that's only going to grow and grow over the next however many years. I'm also seeing more and more clients looking, we touched upon saving time, but streamlining their processes, trying to create marginal gains from what they're currently doing, perhaps reducing manual tasks and that kind of thing. And obviously, more planning. I think there's been a lot of uncertainty. I think the sector's quite uncertain and geared by its surroundings and what's going on elsewhere in the world, let alone the weather. So I think that always adds an element of surprise, perhaps. So yeah, what about you?
Sprinkled with a bit of IHT planning, I reckon.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's going to be in the pipeline for a while.
yeah, I've definitely noticed a shift of people being more proactive with it since the budget than reactive. And I think we're not looking just at immediate sort of descendants, but ones after those as well now, even ones that aren't involved in the business. So it is definitely a lot more detailed because of the changes. I'm expecting a lot more of that. But we are here to help with those sort of situations, and we're ready to help our clients with that.
Yeah, I always think there's no question is too small. I think sometimes what starts off as an initial small question then builds into more and more, and there's more information gathering to be done, and perhaps more help that can be offered that perhaps people didn't even realize that they needed, particularly in
Yeah.
terms of like management reporting or management information. Things that they've not had before might actually just now be more readily available to them. Touching base with our clients throughout the year and being proactive, not just waiting until everything's passed, because by that point it really is quite late for us to help and make any changes.
You agree. Is there anything you're not looking forward to that might be on the horizon?
Winter in general.
Yeah. We could do with some rain though, in fairness. If we get some rain, our
Yeah, I
clients
feel
might be
like
quite happy.
when the longest day reaches here, I'm instantly going into kind of autumn mode. And as much as I love autumn, I really do. I'm not ready
Not ready.
to
Yeah.
for the dark nights. But no, I wouldn't say really there's anything that I don't look forward to. I think we all have our favourite tasks, and
Yeah.
but I think the reality is that our client service and delivering what we do remains the same, regardless of what's happening with everything else, regardless of what changes there are. I think what we offer and how we support our clients remains consistent throughout.
It has to be.
Definitely.
Completely agree. And I know we've mentioned or sort of dabbled on supporting our clients, but is there anything else we can do to help them?
I think just talking about what their concerns are, I think, and what we can do, what works for them, what doesn't work. I think it's those questions, because it might be something really small. I see it quite a lot from a digital perspective. I think, what tasks are you currently doing that you don't want to do? How are they benefiting you, or what more information do you need, and how can we make that work without adding to necessarily their time commitments already, or that kind of thing. You don't know what you don't know, and I think it's just having those conversations to really gauge what it is that might be missing that they never realized they needed, particularly from a reporting point of view.
Exactly. No question is too small. And like you say, it can make a massive difference just by having that answer that might allow them to realise something or make a decision. You just don't know until you ask. So
Yeah,
communication really is key.
yeah,
And I think the other thing with communication is, especially if there is something that's concerning or worrying or you want advice on, the sooner you talk to us, the quicker we can help. We don't need to wait till the deadline, some of these things. Let's be proactive. Let's work with you. And it's going to sound really corny, but talk to us. Let us help you. It's our job and we really want the best for all of our clients.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Amber. A lot was covered there. If any of our clients have any questions, then our contact information will be in the show notes. We would love to hear from you, so please do get in touch.
Thank you for joining us for Larkin Gowan Insights, Accountancy and Business Advice for All. Don't forget, you can find more information about today's topic and more about how our team of experts can help you in your business by visiting our website larking-gowan.co.uk. Join us again next time for another fascinating insight into the world of accounting and finance.